You're at 109 right now.
Voy a trabajar, porque voy a trabajar y no estamos aquí para perder tiempo. Ves mi ropa de trabajo ahí, pues puta, por eso que estoy Pedro, por eso que estoy Pedro, y pues puta, porque voy a trabajar y me estás haciendo perder tiempo, por eso que estoy Pedro. Porque vos me pones problema aquí y el patrón también por llegar tarde, es por eso que estoy Pedro. Puta hombre, ¿y por qué ellos no los requisas? Porque ellos son blancos, porque son ciudadanos, porque a ellos no los detienes y les preguntas tus papeles, porque ellos sí son de esta ciudad, ellos sí son de aquí, de la capital, ellos no son sinónimos de peligro, ellos no representan el peligro para los ciudadanos. ¿Por qué a ellos no los detenés? ¿Por qué no los detenés a ellos y a nosotros sí? Vienen pasando cada 5 minutos más de 200 personas. Y escoge exactamente a los dos negros que vienen pasando para requisarles. Y los detiene y asume una actitud grosera ante nuestra persona. Y claro, somos iguales ante la ley. Somos iguales ante la ley. Pero yo escojo cara para decidir a quién requiso y a quién no. Claro, ¿por qué no requisas a los otros? Porque ahí está. Pero es un país donde somos iguales, donde los negros y los blancos son iguales ante la ley. Esa es la representación de la ley. A ver, ¿a quién más está deteniendo? ¿A quién más está parando a requisar? Son las 8 de la mañana. Es normal que lleve prisa. Pero mi prisa sí es sospechosa. La prisa de ustedes no es sospechosa porque ustedes son ciudadanos. Esa es la diferencia. Es eso lo que me molesta de este hijo de puta país hipócrita que nos ha tenido a nosotros los negros haciendo una enorme contribución a la construcción de la nación. No respeta nuestra humanidad. Es eso lo que me molesta. Es eso lo que...
So the guy makes a very good argument. And my story is I was in Panama. I was riding a bus. I was traveling from Costa Rica headed to Panama. I flew into Panama before this trip, and I had no issues getting into Panama whatsoever, flying in. So there might be a little distinction here because I was traveling on by bus. I was riding in the bus with other passengers, minding my own business. There was an empty seat next to mine. I already could sense what was happening because, I'm a black man. The other passengers were not eager to sit next to me. And so the seat went available for much of my trip, much of the journey. At one point, there came more passengers, and they all searched for seats. And then it became apparent when those passengers boarded that they were trying to avoid the seat next to mine. And so you had these sort of white Latinos just going to other parts of the bus searching for seats. And they were very comfortable sitting next to anyone who was, non-black. That's what it seemed. Anyhow, what happened is there was one black traveler from Panama, and he boarded the bus, and he needed a place to sit, and he took the seat next to mine. I don't remember saying anything to him. Maybe a little head nod, hello, something like that, and then back to minding my business on my journey. And on the buses, they have police checkpoints. So we pulled up to a checkpoint at some time in our journey. We were traveling from, where did we go? It was from Costa Rica to the border of Panama. No, excuse me. I was already in Panama. So I was traveling from the border of Panama to Panama City by bus. And then at some point there's a checkpoint, police checkpoint. The police board the bus, and then they look around and they announce to everyone, "We'll be checking passports. This is a security checkpoint. We're checking passports, and this is an official police search," and yada 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 yada. So the police walk up and down the aisles looking for someone suspicious, and they ignore all of the other blanquitos, all the other white Latinos. And then as they walk past us, go to the back of the bus, and then walk toward the front, and they've already made this announcement like, "Hey, we're going to do something." And when they pass us, the two, hombres negros, they tell us, "Hey, give me your passports." They didn't ask anyone else on the bus. They walked past us, walked down, and then walked back, and then told us, "Hey, give me your passports." So I surrendered my passport. The gentleman next to me surrendered his passport. They looked at it, and then they were like, "Okay, everything checks out. Everything's good. You guys, this whole bus, you're free to go." Now, I was looking at it like, man, I was already guessing to myself, oh, they're gonna ask us for our passports. I already sensed that. The gentleman next to me was from Panama. He was a black Panamanian man. He wasn't having it that day. So as soon as they asked for the passports, they looked through it and then handed it back. He protested. Of course, it was in Spanish, but I understood everything that he said. And the one thing that I recall him doing, at some point it became apparent that I couldn't speak Spanish as well as him, as well as he could. And when he said to me, something to the effect, "Hey, brother B, we have to protest. You know why they're doing this?" And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah, I know. And he raised his hand and he rubbed his finger across his hand like, this is why they are doing this to us. And I'm like, yeah, I know, brother. I know. So that was, so that was my experience in Latin America with this stuff. Dash Harris is on it. She's been on it. I met her in Cuba. She's of Panamanian descent, Panamanian American, and she runs a tour company in Latin America. Specifically, I think it's Panama and Cuba. And I went on her Cuba tour. I met her. She hipped me to a lot of, el racismo in America Latina.
It's a very convenient cop-out for Latin America and for Latinos, Latines to say, well, it's not as bad as the U.S., and they're right. It's worse.
So this is her documentary. She has more content. Check her out. It's called Negro. It was produced now 13 years ago. Yep, she knows her stuff. Check her out. Wherever you find her on Instagram. Recently she was on AJ Plus, Al Jazeera Plus. And you can watch that video. So look up Dash Harris, AJ Plus on YouTube, and you'll find it. All right. Peace and blessings.
You're at 109 right now.
Ichimaru-kyo, Iine.
C'est toujours un plaisir d'être là avec vous. Vous écoutez la fréquence 109. Merci à vous.
The Spanish and Portuguese were looking to acquire wealth through enslavement and colonization, but they were also looking to spread Catholicism and weaken Islam after hundreds of years of Moorish rule on the Iberian Peninsula, to convert and civilize natives. Indigenous and Africans' freedom and their lives were contingent on their Christianity.
To become Christians was to promise them freedom. And so when they were becoming Christian and swearing loyalty to the king and to the church, they were baptized. And the Catholic Church do keep records of baptism back to those ages. So I did go in Old San Juan and go to the records of the Christian church there, the cathedral, and found records of my ancestors, Falus. And then we also found record of the oldest ancestor that we know, which was a young man called Antonio Falu, who fought with the Brigade of the Blacks of Santurce in Puerto Rico. When I traveled to Zimbabwe, this ambassador of Senegal saw my name and said, "Oh, you are from Senegal." And then I said, "No, I'm from Puerto Rico." I said, "No, Falu is a very revered last name in Senegal." And so I took notice of that. And then I was presenting a lecture in a conference, and this man came and kneeled in front of me. Really? And I say, "What are you doing?" And he said, "You are Falu. And Falu in Senegal is a sacred family, because Falu was the second to Mbake. Mbake was like a Jesus Christ of the Muslims in Senegal. And Falu was the second to Mbake."